Hoffman, Everyday Spacer.
I'm Jeff Miller, CME Computer and IT Solutions.
At Everyday Spacer, we show regular folks how to personally and directly participate in space exploration, science, and astronomy. We're here on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Pacific Time, 12 midnight Eastern Time, and 2 p.m. on Saturday in Queensland, Australia. We're broadcasting live from Thousand Oaks, California. Thank you so much for being here.
Okay, some cybersecurity news. Some big news is that people are using Wi-Fi to attack a lot now. It's now the route into corporate networks.
Yikes.
And you would think that you'd be safe because Wi-Fi is short range, but they've flown drones to the roofs of buildings, or they've taken over computers in neighboring buildings and used the Wi-Fi to get, so it's out there. So just make sure that your Wi-Fi is secure, have a good password. And if you're a company, make sure that any publicly accessible Wi-Fi is outside the bounds of your corporate network. So that's all.
We got a couple people. Let's say hi quick. Of course, Janie's here with us. So.
And hi, Scott.
Hi, Scott.
Hi,
and
Dawn.
Dawn. Thanks so much for being here. Everyday Spacer is sponsored by CME Computer and IT Solutions.
Help us welcome Janie Becker. We'll be back in 8.3 seconds. There's a link to that book in the description. If you want a signed copy of the book, write Pam at everydayspacer.com.
There it is.
There it is. Now it's there. So write Pam at everydayspacer.com for details. If you were given the opportunity to travel in space in 6 months, what would you change in your daily nutrition choices? Janie will share some of the whole foods that nutritionists tell us are best for our health here and now. Then we will explore how meals in space might be different for a week away from your regular routine. Imagine how it could be for you. Janie Becker serves others in many ways. She has a vast knowledge of healing touch, aromatherapy, energy medicine, reflexology,
Raindrop Technique, health education, massage techniques. Her ultimate goal is to provide quality education and caring service to her clients with integrity and optimal results with caring follow-up. For this episode, Janie will introduce a potential new series, Preparing for Space Travel Nutrition. As I was digging into this to help support Janie, I thought this was just very technical. So we're kind of thinking about crunchy topics for this ultimately. But let's find out what Janie has to share with us tonight. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Janie.
It sounds fun to explore it more. Welcome, Everyday Spacers. I'm so glad to see you.
Not that one.
Sorry, wrong one. Well, it looks like it moved. Okay, there.
Well, today we're going to focus on healthy gut and brain here on Earth, as mentioned, to prepare for healthy space travel together. With the help of our hosts, Pam and Jeff, we can imagine it and then organize it. Go.
Oh, yep.
So one of the most important parts of health is clean water. And it's a good start for healthy gut and brain. So, for example, you've probably all heard this example. If you weigh 180 pounds, nutritionists recommend 90 ounces of clean water, which is a little more than 11 8-ounce glasses. I need to drink 13 glasses, so you can do the math. There is a challenge for me because with a heart issue, I'm allowed to have 2 liters of water a day, which limits the ability to keep my weight stable. So looking for balance in life is a challenge any way you look at it. But what's fun is I looked up how the astronauts get their water. They have filtered water stored in the Space Center, and they have this little device where they can add the water to the food pouches, and they have access to water and electrolyte solutions and flavored drinks. So then, of course, I went looking, well, what are the flavored drinks? Because I'm sure they can't have Gatorade and Monster and those kinds of things. I would think they would want to stay healthy. But I did find out that they have special straws that have a one-way valve so that the water doesn't go out into the room where they are.
Right.
So
Oh,
go.
yep. I almost missed it. Sorry.
Thanks. So here we are in June. We're springing into summer. Happy summer solstice today. But when it gets hot, I don't know about you, but my energy goes kind of low. And then I'm not hungry anymore. And I might have trouble getting to sleep. Does that happen for you?
Yeah. We have
So
a
we got
comment.
some,
We have a
yes,
comment. You ready
comment.
for that?
Yes.
Naomi's here.
Hi,
Hello.
Naomi.
Welcome.
So we've got some whole foods to share to help you keep your energy strong. And of course, I have an oil for that because those of you that have been here a lot know that I use essential oils for health. And peppermint oil is excellent for cognition, respiratory, and digestive support. Go. So here is a picture of beautiful. Notice the variation in color and
Yeah.
texture in the vegetables and fruits. And what's interesting about that is the nutritionists tell us that the berries are the best for low sugar and high antioxidant.
Hmm.
And the vegetables, if you can vary the color and texture, and you notice this array here is wonderful. So if you can have vegetables in every single meal, they say that's going to help us stay healthy and strong. So when it's our turn to go out into the universe, we'll be ready. Go.
Right.
So here we have Chris Cassidy, who was on Expedition 63. And what he's showing, you see the foods are packaged in little containers. And what's interesting is that here on Earth, when we're eating good nutrition, it helps us in our everyday life. It helps with athletic performance. And in fact, in space, it helps adapt to the stress. I don't know if you've ever noticed how noisy it is in the space station. There's so many pieces of equipment that are operating. It's amazing. And one of the things that interested me was looking at this particular photograph for him. You notice things are floating, as you've always seen. And then this package is mango salad. So you can imagine this package being held to the water source to rehydrate it so they can eat it. Go.
Right. We got a comment first. Let's do
Yes.
that real quick.
Hi, Cliff.
Hey,
Hey,
Cliff.
Cliff.
Welcome.
Yeah, Cliff
Oh,
isn't facing heat right now. He's
No.
facing cold.
wow. How cold is it?
Well, it's
Because
getting into their winter.
Yeah,
it's
Basically.
90 here.
yeah, because first day of summer for us, first day of winter
It's
for
for
Cliff.
winter for them. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. It's a topsy-turvy world, isn't it?
Oh,
Oh, Cliff has another.
oh,
Can't read it.
Oh, your
even my
wife
wife
is
is
here.
watching.
That's
Oh,
fabulous. Welcome. We're glad to see you. So the first picture shows space food, and you see each container has everything contained within it. And I would think that it takes a little bit to get used to that because, we're used to our fork and knife and spoon
right.
and having a plate and a bowl, and everything's in a package. And they eat freeze dried meals. And where do you think that came from? Remember the military?
Mm-hmm.
And what did they call them, Jeff?
MR,
MREs?
MREs. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they have thermostabilized food. So that means somehow the heat is applied to keep it stable. And then, of course, I was amazed they have fresh fruit and they even have tortillas and they have snacks. And so I looked up different snacks. They said they have candy. Even Amazon has NASA approved freeze dried ice cream sandwiches. Can you believe it?
Yeah, that's interesting stuff.
Well, of course,
Go-
there are a number of NASA approved foods that have never flown.
Oh,
Most famous is Tang.
probably, yeah.
Yeah, I used to drink Tang. It was pretty good. I
Hmm.
thought it was good. And they have uh, the lady, Dr. Grace Douglas, is the lead scientist for the Advanced Food Technology Project for the International Space Station. Pretty amazing. Can you imagine having that title
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
that responsibility? I don't
sounds
know
like
how
a
big
huge
her
job.
team is, but they showed a picture of a group of astronauts testing foods.
Hmm.
Ah, cool.
Okay, go. So, one of my favorite things in doing this research was finding out that the traditional breakfast for astronauts was steak and eggs with orange juice. And of course, I've worked on changing my nutrition. So, I would have the eggs, but not the steak and the orange juice.
Got it.
And then tea was served to Alan Shepard before Freedom 7 took off. And they do not allow coffee for 24 hours before the flight. And I'm thinking with the power of coffee, I would think they'd want to have it 72 hours without coffee. But one of my favorite pictures is astronaut Karen Nyberg because it shows her with a little snack and a little beverage. And of course, she's in space because her hair is all over the place.
Love the
Yeah.
hairs. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are women in the 80s who would have killed for hair like that.
Oh, amen. She's got so much hair for sure. Go. So, for brain support, we already talked about the importance of vegetables and fruits, and all fruits are good, but berries are the best, as I mentioned, because of the fiber that helps with digestion, and they're lower in sugar and calorie value, and they're also high in antioxidants.
Nice.
Go. So proteins and fats. Now there are people who I understand who are allergic to fish. I love fish in all kinds, so I feel bad for them. But there's a lot of talk about the advantages of lean meat, and of course there's an issue about some farmed poultry having vitamins. So you want to be careful to get the source. And then avocados are a wonderful source of fat. That's one of the approved. And then the picture that's not showing up is the extra virgin olive oil. And
Hmm.
I love tech and somehow it disappeared. So the best way to cook your lean meat is either barbecue or baking. Now
Oh,
you can't, and some people like poached, and I don't know that many people nowadays that do that. People probably in the 50s had poaching in their
oh,
cookbooks. Go.
Oh, and just quick, Cliff answered 24
Oh,
degrees Fahrenheit average, and on average is 80 to 100 in summer, and a high of
yeah,
110 on
yeah,
the
same
humidity.
here.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, and
but
I've been down under, and it
yeah.
it gets holy hot. In fact, when we were there, they had these hats that had corks,
Hmm.
so that the people could work the mines and just wiggle their head to keep the flies away. They have flies to the moon and back. Oh my. Okay, here we are with legumes and beans. And black beans are really good. I make my chili with black beans.
mm.
Pinto beans, kidney beans, navy beans. My mom used to make navy bean soup. We'd have that for 2 days. And then she'd add sugar and we'd have baked beans.
Mm.
A long time ago. And then, of course, mixed nuts, they say for brain, walnuts are really good. And
Ah,
isn't it funny? You've seen the pictures of half of a walnut and it looks like the brain. Isn't that
Mhm.
fascinating? And
Oh,
of
good
course,
way to
chia
remember it.
seeds. Yeah,
oh,
chia seeds and flax seeds are real good. You can add them to your salad or your soup.
oh, and Janie, I had a question. Um,
Yes.
Pecans, are they close enough to walnuts to be equivalent to walnuts, or are they
Well,
not as
they're
good as
very
walnut?
good. They're
Okay.
very good. And both, a lot of people get concerned because of the fat content,
Hmm.
but that's important for the brain.
Hmm.
So as long as you don't eat more than 2 tablespoons a day, you'll be fine.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
So I always, whenever I do presentations, I like to have a little funny. So if we go to the next slide, I have a question. What is an astronaut's favorite computer part? Jeff
I,
probably already knows this.
I remember this
Anybody
from a long
guess?
time ago.
Do we have any guesses in the comments?
We'll watch for the comments.
What's
Did
an
you?
astronaut's favorite computer part? And the second question is, why did the moon skip dinner? Anybody know?
See that one she caught me on. I didn't know that one. Oh, we got one. Mary Jo. Oh, Mary. Okay, Mary Jo wrote
Mouse? Oh,
mouse. Ooh,
mouse. Good job, Mary Jo. But it's actually the space bar.
yes. I knew that one, but I didn't know this next one. So about the
So
moon.
why
Oh,
did the moon skip dinner? Yep, the space bar. Good job. And why did the moon skip dinner? Anybody?
I didn't guess this one.
It was full. Good job, Naomi. It was full. So the next slide is really chock full of information. These are foods that support your organs naturally. And I'm learning using StreamYard because I'm used to using Zoom with PowerPoint and I'm able to animate, but we couldn't figure it out in time for this presentation. So you get to see them all at once. So to support your blood, pomegranates are good, oranges, and ginger. A lot of people cook
Mm.
with ginger.
Yeah, we got a
Yeah,
couple
and of
more
course,
comments, Janie.
yes.
Let's get your
Cliff.
space bar.
What do you mean that's sad? I
Well, I
thought it
think it's
was
fabulous.
funny.
Yeah. Oh, and he also had talking about the flies. We invented AeroGuard to repel the flies 1956 for the Queen.
Hero card.
Oh, hallelujah. Thank you. Oh
Yeah.
my, yeah, the flies are amazing. And the scorpions are huge. Oh my. So for the brain, of course, blueberries. Blueberries support all functions in the body. There's our walnuts.
Mm.
And then we have a turmeric supplement in our Young Living essential oil line. And
Mm.
for the eyes, you've heard about carrots and spinach. Yay, Popeye. And sweet potatoes. Now, if you're eating sweet potato fries, you might be not as healthy as you could be, but you can bake the sweet potato and have a little salsa with it. That's good.
You think
And
air
for
fryer is a good alternative?
yes,
Air fryer.
air fryer is an excellent tool.
Try to get
Yes.
that fried, but it's not quite fried.
Right, right. And there's a way to have the setting so it's crispy on the outside and
Mm.
firm on the inside.
Well, I've always found that putting sweet potato in syrup makes it extra healthy.
Well,
Okay.
you got to monitor your sugar, Jeff. and and I'm a sugar addict, so I really have to focus on keeping the sugar low. And that's why I put berries and nuts and seeds in my salads because then I have a well-rounded.
Mm.
In fact, we have a slide coming up about the winner of the food challenges for the astronauts.
Oh.
So, yeah, so for the heart, avocados, of course, we already mentioned that, walnuts and berries. So you notice there's repetition here. There's certain foods that are good for different parts of the body and the systems. And the intestines love cucumbers. Now, there are some doctors that say remove the seeds in cucumbers and tomatoes, and then you'll have a healthier um, nutrition. And the green apple, although the green apple is too green for me, my sister Mary Jo loves green apples. And then aloe vera is wonderful for healing. Again, kidneys like cucumbers and limes and celery. And I usually, in my chili, I put garlic,
Mm,
celery,
wow.
and I do tomato, onion, and zucchini. So they taught us in Weight Watchers many years ago to volumize the vegetables in your recipes. So
Mm.
for the liver, there's the turmeric again and beets. I love beets. There's a place we go to in Utah that has wonderful beets, little baby beets. Are they're so good. And lately, we've even found golden beets in the produce section, and they're not as tart as the red beets, but they're
Mm,
still very good.
mm.
And then, of course, carrots. In fact, my physical therapist has 3 small children, and they planted 20 carrot seeds, and they got 1 carrot.
Oh no!
So I told him, try it again. For the lungs, garlic, pineapple, and ginger. And there are people who love pizza, but there's a whole controversy about pineapple on pizza, right?
Yes.
So for the pancreas, broccoli is good for all systems. Garlic and spinach. There again is our spinach. And then for your skin, apples, beets, and carrots. So we've got a great variety, as you see in the photograph here.
Yeah, I wouldn't go too much spinach. That's was it kidney stones? You don't want to eat it
Well,
like all the time.
and the thing is, if you saute it, the
Mm.
digestion is a little smoother.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I did
But
not know that.
it's still a good fiber vegetable. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Lost in space. Now, right away when you hear that, you think of TV, right? But there's a wonderful live science newsletter,
Mm.
and it was so funny. In 2022, Frank Rubio harvested 2 little tomatoes. Do you see him there? And he put them in a plastic bag, as they do with everything. Excuse me. And then he lost them. And there was a chance discovery in the 6-bedroom complex showing how 17% humidity on board affects food in a Ziploc bag. So it looks like it's been dehydrated, right?
Does.
And he did find it eventually. It had floated away behind something. And when you look for something and you can't find it, the filing rule is if you look as earnestly for something else, you'll find what you were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that funny? So, did you know the Aztecs ate tomatoes in 700 AD, and they
No.
called them tomatl, tomato.
Hmm.
And then it wasn't until 1590 that tomatoes were planted in the UK. And then, of course, they came over on the Mayflower. Right. All right. Go. So here's where that Grace Douglas and her team tested 10 meals for space travel
Mm.
because the requirements are there's a lot of stress up there. In fact, there's stress getting up there, and there's stress coming back, and there's stress being there doing all their tests. And you can imagine being in orbit and vibrating, right? It's kind
Yep.
of, if you've ever been in a vibrating chair and got tired of the vibration, well, you better get used to it in space, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the issue of weightlessness. And you can go on a ship and you got the rocking and rolling, or you can be on a train. And then when you get off, your body is still
Yep.
adapting.
Yeah.
If you've ever been in one of those gyroscope things, the same thing. It messes with your equilibrium.
Yeah. I
So
remember canoeing and getting out and feeling that rocking.
yeah,
So,
that rocking, yeah.
yeah.
So you're learning new ways to react to everything. You know, the way you touch your face, it's, you know, your hands going funky. And then, of course, you're exposed to cosmic radiation
Yep.
and all kinds of temperature issues. So there's a lot that you go through, and you can see there's space farmed crops, and they look at how the nutrition impacts the body. And it's the ACS is the American Chemical Society. So if we go to this next slide, there is the winner of the 10 space dishes. And I was so surprised. It's kale greens with diced sweet potato and soybeans.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
It's
Yeah.
amazing. So it's fascinating.
Yeah, I thought so. It's like, wow, who knew? And of course, I like kale, but I like lots of other kinds of lettuce with it because kale's kind of sharp, right?
Yeah. There's different
So,
kinds of kale too. So,
yes, well, there's the fluffy, curly, and the spiky. And I don't have any of it growing in my garden anymore.
mm,
So, we're going to go to the next slide and look at here's more humor. So, get ready. What is an astronaut's favorite music genre? That's the first question. Any ideas?
she caught me on this one too.
Mm.
And the fourth one
Well,
I never heard.
well, we have a friend who's into music for years and years and years. So I'm going to
Yep.
try this one on him. So
Oh,
any
good.
guesses, anybody? What is an astronaut's favorite music genre?
It's quiet
It's
out there right now.
okay.
Not
It's
yet. Nope.
rocket. It's rocket and roll.
Oh, somebody's
Okay.
Dawn has a thought. I didn't.
Oh,
Oh, interesting. I didn't like kale
I
fudge
didn't like
and
kale and
smoothies.
oh yeah, I'm with you, Don. It's good in smoothies.
There you go.
Yeah, same with spinach. Yeah.
oh,
Oh, Cliff.
I like Cliff's answer too.
Dark Side of the Moon. That's a
Nice.
good guess. I like it. So the next one is why did the astronaut always carry a pencil?
I have no idea.
So just think about it. There's a commonly used phrase, maybe not so much nowadays. It was in case he needed to draw his own conclusions. It's a little
Yeah,
corny. Yeah,
a
but
little.
I thought Jeff might appreciate it. He likes my dad jokes.
Yeah.
No, don't share anymore.
Go.
I'll never remember them.
Oh, okay.
They
Oh,
will
oh,
inspire
good.
me though.
Yeah, I know. They're fun. We have a good time with that, but we stress Pam with our dad jokes. Go.
Oh, yep. Hold on. There we go.
So we have 3 essential oils that we recommend for digestive health. Thyme and rose, they have found, could be effective in suppressing pathogens in the small intestine. So you would apply it either on the soles of your feet or over your tummy area. And cardamom is an anti-inflammatory and antispasmodic with digestive health.
Hmm.
And peppermint is my all-time favorite. It's one of the universal oils. It's good for so many things. It's good for mental health. It's good for respiratory health, digestive health. It's good for muscle tone. It's good for mood. Some people use it a drop on their wrist when they're studying for exams, and then when they're in the exam, they have good recall. So there's lots of good uses for it. And if you want to get essential oils, the purest are Young Living, and so there's a way to sign up with us.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
scrolling on the bottom, and Cliff has a comment.
The thing
Pens
about
don't
pencils.
write in space. Well, now remember in the 50s, they had a special pen for space. You remember that?
Yep, Fisher Space
Yeah.
Pen. It took $1 million to develop it. Now, it wasn't $1 million from NASA. That was a private company that developed it. But the Russians always used pencils anyway, so that's
Yeah.
They
fascinating.
apparently didn't care about
No.
lead dust in the air.
Oh, is that the
Yeah.
problem? Okay.
Yeah.
That could be bad.
Thank
Or
you.
carbon dust, because that's actually what's in pencils nowadays.
Oh, I love you technical guys. I love it. It's such a rich group that we have in Everyday Spacers. Thank you.
Yes.
6
Oh, I
million.
thought it was 1 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was Fisher Price that spent the money. They donated the pens.
Yep.
Because they wanted
Wow.
because they thought it was good advertising.
That's good advertising, boy.
Yeah, little did they know how often they would be using them, and they were cool. That was the other thing, it's the trend to be cool is really still important in our culture, right?
Hey, Roger's here, Janie.
Hey, Roger. NASA developed a zero-G pencil. It cost several tens of thousands to develop. The Russians always use pencils because they're much cheaper. Well, that's a comment, isn't it?
What's a zero-G pencil, Roger?
Maybe it's
I
one that
never
doesn't
heard of that.
make dust.
Oh, that makes perfect sense because that stuff gets in the air and it's a problem.
Yeah.
I wonder if this kind of thing would be helpful in the space station for respiratory issues.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, and we're going to explore that at a future episode. We're going to talk about the use of essential oils and cautions and issues and looking at what are the possibilities. And I'm going to depend on Jeff for help and Cliff and anybody else that's interested. Thank you.
Excellent. I love it.
So I found a resource that I thought was kind of clever in the next slide. So NASA created space nutrition, and you notice these little characters, they're so cute. Space nutrition evolved from an adopt a classroom effort led by scientists in the Nutritional Biochemistry Laboratory at the NASA Johnson Space Center in Houston. Our goal was to bring students closer to space research while learning about the importance of nutrition for astronauts and for kids too. I thought that was very clever.
What a fun way to learn stuff, tie it into space.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was so clever.
Cliff's got another comment.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Oh, you can still get the Fisher Space Pen, yeah.
Yep. Wow. Well, it's like the pet rock never died, right?
It's true. It's totally true. I think it was a pressurized nitrogen vessel in the pen that made the ink run still.
Yeah.
Because if you take a regular pen and try and write it upside down, the ink eventually flows too far away from the ball to mark on the paper anymore. But this one, constant pressure, no matter what angle or even microgravity. So
that's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so we're going to talk about the brain. One of the things, I have it out of order. Sorry. Okay.
The next one. Which one?
That's okay. We're all right.
Okay.
So I have a monthly newsletter. Every month I give a class using essential oils, and introducing it, I use a newsletter. And for July, we're going to talk about Freedom Release and Freedom Sleep. And those are kits that help me in the healing of aggressive bladder cancer. So we're going to talk about that in July. And I work with caregivers, people taking care of aging parents, and in some cases, people who've been volunteered to care for a neighbor who has no family, those kinds of
Mm,
things. So my sisters, Mary Jo and Sue, helped four of our aging elders over 9 years with navigating the aging process into their 90s.
wow.
And there's a lot of issues, and I know Jeff's been through it with his mom, and many of our spacers have had the experience of caring for elders. So we do a lot of counsel for people, and there you can get a free ebook called 3 Essentials for Caregivers if you click on the caregivers.lessbrainstressnow.com.
And I just shared that in the chat.
Thank
Well,
you.
okay. It's showing up on YouTube. I'm still having trouble with Facebook, though. Weird. I don't know
Well,
why. I thought I fixed it, but nope.
that's okay. We'll just keep trying,
Yep.
we'll keep putting it out there, right?
Right.
So on the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about the brain. Oh, and the graphic didn't show up in this one. So
Uh-oh.
there's lots of brain foods, zinc, nuts. We already talked about sleep. We talked about turmeric and fatty fish and avocados and blueberries. There was so here's a second thing that didn't show up. Talk about I love tech. Anyway,
There's a naturopath doctor that I've been in communication with, and he said black olives were really good for brain too.
yes. And are they called calamari? No, yeah. No,
Calamari is squid.
that's the squid. I'm it starts with a K. It's a black olive that's fermented. That's really good. They say fermented foods are good for our digestion too. So thank you for sharing
Mm.
that.
Did
So
we have Roger's got another
Yeah.
comment for you, Janie?
Yeah, this is about
Right.
he just hi folks, never heard about the dust concerns before. Sounds logical. He's talking about
Oh
pencils.
yeah,
But he didn't tell us
yeah.
what the zero G pencil is yet. Come on,
Well,
Roger. We need your help.
what's interesting to me is dust. And I can dust, and 30 minutes later, there's dust.
Mhm.
And that's here. And can you imagine what it's like in space
Mhm.
with all the different chords and activities and the movement and while you're vibrating and orbiting at the same time? Can you imagine what it's like? It's like if you've ever been on one of those vibrating plates and then came off of it, your body is still vibrating. The
Yeah.
same kind of thing. It's amazing. Well, one of the things I want to share with people is that I have a brain health food favorite chart that lists all kinds of healthy foods, and it also lists the benefits and what's helpful in the frequency and the amount of that food. So if you're interested, you can send an email to aromatherapyplus@verizon.net and I'll send it to you.
Oh, and I don't have that up here, so
Okay. Oh, and
But
Mary
it's on the
Jo.
slide.
Mary Jo
There it
knows.
is. Thank you, Mary Jo. Kalamata. I knew she'd know. I just
And,
couldn't remember.
and Cliff apparently knows too, and he approves.
Ah, good. See,
See?
that's what I love about our spacers. We
Yep,
have good support, and together we can do anything, right?
I agree.
Okay. And one of the things that's coming up on the next slide is the book that I created. It's Your Amazing Itty Bitty Self Care for Caregivers book. And so it's available on Amazon that you can gift to someone who's newly assigned to caregiving. And chapter number 1 is permission to take care of yourself. And that's one of the issues that most caregivers neglect.
Yeah.
Slide. Okay, go. And next month In the Rockstar Keynote Speakers magazine, there's a cover story for me talking about my work with all kinds of people with the state of California. And next month is Disability Pride Month, and Craig has a wonderful article in there listing all kinds of disabled leaders who are wonderful
Mm.
inspiration. And I heard something today about a new book that's make your make magic your tragic. And he was talking about if you can do something that inspires you every day, read a quote or an affirmation or hear a story that inspires you, that keeps you healthy and healing.
Very good.
And,
Yeah, I'm looking
and
forward to that.
yeah, me too. It's great. It was fun to do.
And I
And
think he's got this magazine online too, and it actually
yeah,
like turns like pages, and we're
it's
gonna have to
cool.
find that link.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's way cool. And you can go for more information, you can go to Less Brain Stress Now.
There's that
And
one.
when I got that, it's on the next slide. And we always remind people to reduce, reuse, repurpose, recycle, and relay for us. And in our community, we have a program with the Parks and Rec where they have a fix it clinic. So you can bring things.
Mm.
Some people bring bicycles or radios. And there's always one guy in the neighborhood who likes to tinker. He's got a workshop, and he was the kid that took everything apart to figure out how it worked. And this is such a wonderful service to be able to repair things. So look for it in your community. And my favorite scripture is be strong and courageous.
Yeah, I
And
always used to call that kind of thing the reduce, reuse, and repurpose. I always call that spaceship thinking, because on a spaceship you must reuse everything. You have
right,
no choice really. Especially if you're far away from the Earth, you're not getting any more resources from there because you're traveling to somewhere. Yeah. That's
that's
what.
a
Anyway.
great comment. Thank you. And then our founder for Young Living says anything that goes on your body should be safe enough to go in your body. There should never be an exchange. And he was really good at figuring things out. He was a scientist, he was an explorer, he loved to tinker in the lab and figure out the better way to do things. He was always tinkering with the distilling process and figuring out a better way to distill to get the maximum output from the plants. So I really appreciate that.
Oh, and Cliff had the comment about
Yay,
tinker.
Cliff,
Yep.
you're a tinker. All
Yeah.
right.
Oh yeah.
So the last slide says everyday gratitude. Thank you from me to you. I really appreciate being able to share, and I love coming to Everyday Spacers every Friday night. Thank you.
Oh, we love you being here, Janie, so much. Really appreciate that.
Mhm.
So maybe one day we'll do a crunchy topic episode on this, and it is rather huge. I think it's very important, though, and I never really thought of it until Janie and I started talking about having her come on, and she talked about brain foods, and yeah, thank you so much, Janie. We really appreciate that.
Yeah.
We're much more well aware of this area and the nature of it as well. So yeah, when we go out there, we're gonna need everything. Just think about that.
Yeah. And
Everything.
and foods and herbs. I mean, they've gotten a bad rap for a while. For the scientific community because it's not scientific enough that they're not making it out of coal tar.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
but I just read an article.
Oops, wait. You got to remove the other one
Oh
first.
yeah.
Yeah, they changed it. We're still
There we
working
go.
on that.
This is an article in the University of California Irvine magazine, UCI, where they're talking about herbs as medicinal. And I'm not going to really go into it really a lot because they don't really say a lot here. But the fact that, a professor is writing about this, and they're covering this about medicinal properties of actual medicine, because he reminds people that one of the most common medicines around, aspirin, comes from willow bark.
Yeah.
And that there's a number of other plants out there that have stuff. And so they're actually talking about this in scientific circles again. So that's just
fabulous.
Yeah.
Love that part.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got some comments. Let's try and catch up with those.
Yeah. So let's just here.
Yeah.
Oh,
you gotta do this one, so we get both of us.
Yes. Okay. So let's see. Oh, yep. There we go. Naomi. Yep. Thank you, Janie. That was very interesting. Yeah, I thought so too.
Very interesting.
Yeah. And Dawn says, "Glad to see you, Janie." Yeah. Yeah.
One more.
And Mary Joe. Thank you for teaching us how to ready for spaces here and in outer space. Yeah.
Yeah. So continue to add your comments. We will look at them periodically, but I'm going to go ahead with some stellar events this week. We are talking about June 20th through June 27th. I almost missed this one. Globe at Night actually continues. It started on the 16th, goes to the 25th. In the Northern Hemisphere, you have two options. You can look for either Bootes or Hercules. And in the Southern Hemisphere, you're looking for Scorpius. It's pretty easy. You go out. They tell you when to do that. You look at the sky overhead and report to the site. I think it's a really great citizen science project that you can do right from your backyard. Yeah, we got a couple more comments. You got them? Yeah. I think so too.
John
yes.
Says, herbs are powerful and need to be used carefully when you have a special condition. Yep.
Right.
Yep. And
toast? What? Oh, ouch. Cliff. Yikes. So, of course, today, June 20th, is the summer solstice. Happy summer solstice.
Hey, Cliff, people. I thought it was going to be popcorn.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
On the 21st, Mercury is 4.8 degrees south of Pollux. June 22nd, Venus and the moon are in conjunction, and Uranus and the moon are in conjunction. You're not really going to see Uranus, though. Also, the Pleiades is 0.6 degrees south of the moon. That's very close. They didn't say anything about an occultation, though. June 23rd, the moon is at perigee, and on the 24th, it rides high. The moon rides high. I gotta figure out what that means someday. Also, Jupiter and the sun are in conjunction. And here's the weird thing, too. On the 24th of June, it's Midsummer Day, but didn't we just, hit the summer solstice? I'm really confused about that one. So if you ever wanted to know what Midsummer Day was, it's June 24th. On June 25th, we have a new moon, and Jupiter and the moon are in conjunction. So on the 26th, Mercury is 2.9 degrees south of the moon. June 27th, Mercury and the moon are in conjunction, clearly. On the 27th, we'll be back here for the Friday night show. I'm going to do something a little different next week. Stick around for a minute and you'll learn more. But find us Fridays at 9 p.m. Pacific time on the Everyday Spacer. Well, I'm trying for the Facebook page and the Everyday Spacer YouTube channel for sure. That one's working out so far. What inspires you the most for the coming week?
If you or someone you know has done something interesting involving space exploration, science, or astronomy, we'd love to share our live. Join us again next Friday, June 27th. Pam will look into experiments you can do from home. Some ideas so far: determine your latitude, determine your altitude. So what's in your house already you can use to conduct scientific experiments? I
got a working title so far. It's called Kitchen Table Experiments. That seems a little...
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, stuff you can just do from home because you got it there. I don't know if some of you out there had the little volcano with the vinegar and baking soda.
Yeah.
Well, you know what you can experiment with?
Oh boy, here we go.
Bleach and ammonia.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh
no. Yeah, I saved someone from doing that. So we got Cliff. Thanks, Cliff. Have a great week. Dawn was here, and we had some new people. Thanks so much, Mary Jo Rowe, for coming. Naomi again, thanks very much. Who else? And
Scott.
Roger was here. It says saving the world
Yay,
before
Roger.
breakfast, but we know that's Roger.
And Scott.
Scott was here.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Naomi. Did we say Naomi?
Yeah.
Naomi.
Yeah.
Good. Did we miss anybody? I think we got everybody.
So. I was looking too.
Awesome. All right, folks. We will continue
Thank
to
you,
look.
guys.
Absolutely.
And
And yeah, we want you back, Janie. So stay tuned for those. We really hope you have a great week, folks. We will continue to look for your comments. The show is always better when you're here with us. Thank you so much for looking up the olives. Oh no, wait. Are those the biological kind, Dawn?
Oh, do they have fuzz on the cheese?
Thanks so much for being here, Janie. We really appreciate that. We're looking forward to having you come back sometime. And yeah, have a great one, folks. Good night.
Good night.
Bye. Love you guys. Bye.